We are Tailgate Talk. Welcome into the show. I'm Matt Thomas. With me, as always, we got Kyle Malwany, Trent Williams, and Kyle Schumann. It is episode 5 for us, but more importantly, after months of waiting and anticipation, it is week 1. We have college football this week. Penn State will be on the field in a game that matters in less than 72 hours from now, heading out to West Lafayette to take on Purdue. 8 o'clock Thursday night on Fox. Boys, how we feeling?
I'm excited. We don't have to listen to 40 pages of your stats that no one cares about. We can finally talk about the actual game.
Amen.
Just wait. They're going to be stats that everyone's going to care about coming up just soon. So you just
wait.
Wait.
Everyone cares about. Just you care about.
We might have to make a segment, Matt's stats,
that no one cares about.
Yeah, the Matalytics.
The Matalytics.
Wow.
We were just talking about it. Apparently, what works on social media is no content. So, no substance. So, but it doesn't feel real to be here, to be completely honest with you. I was thinking about it today. Waiting for Penn State football is kind of like waiting in line for a roller coaster. You know that there's going to be a lot of adrenaline. You know that there's going to be some things that make your stomach turn. And by the time you get to the end, you're probably going to be wondering why you waited so long for it. But he's
been thinking of that analogy all day. That's been on his plate for weeks.
I've been working on the
written
delivery.
Down word for word. He was practicing that line before.
No, you didn't see me hold up the book to do it. So
I'm excited. I mean, we are finally here. We could talk about an actual matchup. We don't have to talk about. Well, I was going to say we don't have to talk about position battles, but I think we're going to have to talk about one today that Franklin announced in his press conference. So,
yeah, go ahead, kick it off. So Franklin, as Trent said, announced in his press conference earlier today on Monday that Drew Allar is going to be the backup quarterback going into this game this week. He mentioned that it's a fluid position and it's going to continue to evolve as the season goes on. But it's surprising given that about a week and a half ago, it was Christian Bayer's position. And now the true freshman has jumped up. So what do you think, Trent? You're ready to go.
I noticed that you changed the pronunciation according to Franklin's press conference today to Bayer instead of Vayu, as everyone else would always call it. So.
One of our favorite beat writers, Audrey Snyder, printed out the pronunciation list a couple of days ago. I got that saved, so we know as we're going forward. So it is Bayer. So
now that came as a little bit of a surprise, I think, to a lot of us. Franklin even noted in this conference that everyone's going to stop listening and start tweeting when he said it. So I'm excited. I mean, I think it's a good sign that he's developing the way he should be. And, all the hope that we have had for him is maybe going to actually be a real thing.
Twitter
sorry, Matt.
No, go ahead, Coach.
I was going to say some more defense. I'm just excited that, this big time recruit is putting the work in, developing at a good pace. And, if he does get some extra playing time during the season, maybe some junk time, hopefully we could see him develop slowly and be our guy for the next 2, 3, 4 years. So
Twitter blew up like more than some of these schools that have actual QB competitions going on. Like it was all that I saw all afternoon. So I mean, it's good. Like it got me pumped. I partially wonder how much of it could be due to like the whole game within a game. You don't want to lose the 5-star. So, but we'll see as the season progresses. But good news, very good news. Also of note for this podcast, the Skook boy himself, Tyler Elton, is going to be the starting middle linebacker. So that's 1 for the Skook, 0 for Berks County, unless anyone's keeping score.
Skook versus everybody.
Jan's coming back. Jan's going to come back and probably coach or something.
Yeah, that's all you got.
I want to emphasize though that Franklin mentioned, and I think I made this point to Matt, that they are both going to get a ton of playing time. So
yeah. Even Hunter Norzad. Oh man, there's someone else too, and now it's slipping my mind. But even these guys that aren't starting are going to see a lot of time. So they're going to see starter reps even if they're not the first on the field.
Yeah, and Trevor mentioned that, but if you have 2 guys fighting per position battles, 72 hours before the game starts, it's nothing but a good sign where if one of these guys get hurt or one of these guys isn't performing, bam, put another guy right in. And so I guess that's only a good sign, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, after Iowa last year, though, I really don't want to see Drew Allar on Thursday night. I'm
I'm gonna have to stop. I'm not sure if Winnie's mic is working. I haven't heard his voice at all this podcast. So
I mean, you guys kind of touched on it enough. I don't know what you want me to say. I mean, we don't know. We don't know, right? I mean, the kid probably had a hell of an off season so far, or spring camp, I should say. Summer training, lifting. I mean, must be understanding the playbook well and everything else that he's able to jump up a couple spots.
I think the correct phrasing is "you don't know what you don't know," but I think the rest of us are pretty good.
Wow. I mean, what do you know, really? I mean, you guy moved up, right? But what else do you know? I mean,
let's get to the preview and I'll show you what I know.
Well, before we get to that, we got our feet wet a little bit with some college football this past weekend. What do you guys think of that Nebraska game?
That was great.
I am so mad. Like I really thought that, like with our particular plates and everything, I took Nebraska with the points. I really thought this may be the year that like, Nebraska actually turns a corner, does something. No, like we give Franklin crap for like not making in-game adjustments. Scott Frost, that guy does not make.
Go.
What?
Finish your thought.
No, I was gonna say that it's just. I really thought that Nebraska was a turn a corner because it's always good when these like these bigger programs just go in and do something. But Nebraska, shake my head. I don't know.
I was just gonna say let's do some good podcasting here and let everyone know, in case you're not aware, Nebraska and Northwestern played on Saturday. Northwestern won 31-28. Nebraska blew not one but two double-digit leads.
I felt good about my pick twice in that game. Like, oh, they're up by 10, they'd be pulling away with it, and they have this stupid onside kick. Like,
I mean,
is it?
We never blow leads, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, no, I mean it's Nebraska is like us on steroids. Like
they find a way to lose games every week. It's incredible.
Yeah,
I mean the start of that game was. I mean, I like you said, Chewy. I was really thinking Nebraska's going to come out, and then second half it was a totally different team.
Yeah, and that's why everyone today, if you listen to sports radio or whatever, they're all talking about that onside kick. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a dumb play. Like, I don't think it lost them the game. It contributed to the loss, but 2 turnovers in the second half, not being able to move the ball at all. They kept trying to stretch it down the field and they just couldn't do it. Like, that's what lost the game.
I think one thing I'm a little more nervous about now is, in our preview last week, we thought Northwestern was going to be this big cakewalk, and I don't know, they showed that they.
Kyle, I think we watched 2 very bad football teams.
Yeah, that's Nebraska's defense was bad. Like, there were wide open gaps.
I mean, props to Northwestern for pulling out the victory. I thought they would definitely cover. I didn't think they would get the win there, but honestly, I think they're both going to be decently bad football teams this year. I don't think that game shows us much. And if it wasn't in week 0 and the only game, we wouldn't be talking about it. But it was, and I'll be honest, it delivered. It was a great football game to watch. Interesting from start to finish.
Yeah. A lot better than rooting for Florida A&M to score a touchdown to make that game more interesting. But did you guys see the stat that was circling around today that Scott Frost would have to win the next 50 games and still wouldn't have as good of a record as Bo Pelini?
Right.
That's funny.
Before we become a Nebraska podcast,
let's
matchup. Let's get to the matchup.
All right. So without further ado, as we said, 72 hours from now, Penn State will be taking on Purdue, West Lafayette, Indiana, 8:00 Thursday night on Fox, prime time. What's the line at now? 4? It was 3.5 earlier today. Is that at 4 now?
It's at 4. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Trent, you have some weather insider for us?
No, I seen that's going to be 84 degrees, partly cloudy. So pretty warm weather. You normally get that this time of year. Cramps could be an issue, but nothing that it's going to keep you off the field for too long.
What's the wind direction like there?
I'll give that to our special team specialist, Kyle Winnie.
I think the winds are coming out of the west at about 10 to 15 miles an hour.
Well,
it's just that only our Gold Plus members that subscribe this podcast get the wind direction.
Yeah. So I read something that surprised me was that we lead the series all time 15-3-1, which was a little more lopsided than I thought, honestly. And we haven't lost to Purdue since 2004.
Wow.
I'm knocking on wood here.
Thank you, Phil Steele. And Jim Cantori all in one.
I don't believe in jinx, Kyle.
So Purdue last year had a pretty good year. Finished the season 9-4. They do lose a decent chunk of their playmakers. Obviously, David Bell off the NFL, George Karlaftis off the NFL. Don't know if their returning talent or their replacing talent has worked out the way they hoped. But their first wide receiver, Milton Wright, I think that's his name, Milton Wright, is out for the year due to some non-football reasons. So, but they're still a dangerous team. I mean, we've seen them take down giants before. Not calling us a giant, but I think we could be in for a dogfight here. So,
yeah, I agree. I don't think, as Winnie said last week, I don't think anyone's overlooking this Purdue team. They have a realistic shot, probably with what we've seen from Nebraska this past week, and I think Purdue has a good shot at the West. They are a really solid football team, and they have no one on their schedule besides us. Like they skipped Michigan, they skipped Ohio State, and they skipped Michigan State. So they have a good shot to win the West, which makes this a really huge game because I feel like at the end of the year, their win total is going to be really good, and a win against them is going to look really good on us.
Yeah, and I did mention, I think it was last week, that they had 2 big wins last year against Michigan State and Iowa, both when they were ranked in the top 5. So, I mean, they went into Iowa and beat Iowa, and that's no easy game. So, I think they're going to be a challenge, like I said. And I guess just to kind of poke at you again, Trent, I didn't say there was going to be overlooked. I said look past the game. Everyone's excited about Auburn.
Play the
same
thing.
Nope. Overlooked and looked past, 2 different things.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but from what I've been reading, like Matt said about George Karlaftis going to the NFL, they don't have a great returning defense coming back, and obviously Aiden O'Connell's going to put up his numbers and everything like that. I mean, we can just try and just limit him with our secondary, but I really think this game's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be higher scoring than like maybe we would like from like a defensive perspective, but I think all in all, hopefully with their lack of pass rush coming back and their weaker secondary, in my opinion, I think we should be able to move the ball at will against them, hopefully.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. What is the over Coco? The over under for this weekend?
I can tell you that in one
Thursday,
second.
I should say. Wow, you don't have that at the tip of your fingers.
While he's working on that,
I can tell you that.
Another thing to kind of look at is to see if their run game is going to be any better this year. That was definitely a weak spot for them. I know you hinted on it. I think Matt saying that Bell was a big part of their offense last year, but
Bell was a wide receiver Winnie. So
I know that's what I'm saying. That Bell was a big part of their offense last year, and they didn't have a run game.
Yeah, but the thing
coming back, but still.
The thing is, like, O'Connell spreads the ball around, so he's not necessarily the type of guy that locks on to one receiver. Like he will find the open man. So I think that's key. So I can get into my.
I said early. Now let me say something before he gets into that. I said on an earlier episode, I think this game comes down to the quarterback play. I do think it's going to be high scoring. We have 2 very experienced quarterbacks coming in for a battle. Both have, I think, a lot to prove this season. I think Clifford's going to be much better than he's given credit for. Like Aiden O'Connell's coming into the season where a lot of people are saying how good he's going to be, where I feel like Clifford's coming in with, he has just as much experience, but his back's against the wall and people are saying he's not going to be good. So I think there's 2 different storylines coming into the game, but at the end of it, the better quarterback, I think, wins.
Trent, right now, going back to that, high scoring, the total over under is 53.5. So, like I said, I think we're going to need a score mid 30s, 40s to get a secure victory here. It's going to be nothing but high scoring.
I read that their cornerback position is probably one of their weakest, and they don't really they don't have a stud. Like their defensive line is solid. It's not bad, but they don't have that one or 2 guys that they could really rely on. Like it's going to be a pretty evenly spread D line.
Yeah, they have a lot of transfers. They have Humpich from Murray State as a pass rusher, and then I think one of their defensive backs actually transferred from Indiana. And one of the comforting things is Clifford already went up against them, and I'm pretty sure threw a TD pass, against that secondary in that game. So that's comforting at least.
Yeah. I think going back to some of the players are losing, like Karlaftis and Bell here, like teams like Purdue, where when you have these generational talents, like a first round pick like Karlaftis, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but like teams like Purdue, it's hard for them to replace players like that, unlike Ohio State or Michigan, or even to a certain extent where we lose Jahan last year, but we're gonna have still a great amount of receiver talent coming back. Where a team like Purdue, they need to like build that within the program, 2-3 years, and then get like a superstar.
Yeah, I mean, good on good. Like, we're more talented than they are.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
we should be able to win. It's just not creating the opportunities for them because they're the type of team that takes advantage when you make mistakes.
No, I mean,
so
if we're gonna turn the page, if this program's gonna turn the page and Franklin's gonna turn the page, these are the games that we have to go into confident and come out with a win because we are the better team. We can't be letting them play with us. If we're gonna be a 10-2 season, 10-2 team, and start really making the turn to become a playoff contender and things like that, these are the games you got to go in there, take care of business, and get back home.
Let's not Nebraska this.
I mean, Kyle, I agree with your point that losing Bell was big, but I know last year in the Music City Bowl that Brock Thompson really stepped up big for them and made it a ball game. So I don't know. I mean,
they're still gonna have solid that name right now.
No,
I had that guy too. When like they have solid skill guys.
Well, again, but some of the transfers too.
I still think our secondary is stronger than their top 2 or 3 receivers. So hopefully we should be able to limit their passing game that way.
What do you guys think? Like, so Nebraska Northwestern playing in week 0, over in Ireland. Like I said that in our last episode, I do think that had an effect. Like playing in Ireland, I thought was an advantage to Northwestern going over there with no expectations. I just felt like it was a lot. How do you feel like playing on a Thursday is going to affect? Personally, I don't think it matters because it's the first game of the season. So you could start your full week practice as you would for a normal Saturday game in the middle of the season. And I don't think anything really changes. If this was a Thursday game in the middle of the season, I would feel a lot worse about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a fan, I hate it. But
I agree.
From the team perspective, I mean, Franklin even said this week that he actually likes it to a degree. You get to start practice earlier, it gives you a little extra time between that week 1 and week 2 is where you see a lot of improvement anyway. So I think in the long run, it will be good. But I would much prefer it to be on a Saturday though, from a fan perspective.
To me, I don't know if it'll really make that much of a difference since it's the first game. Like you said, I mean, if it was like, down the line, if they played a Thursday night game, I think that would kind of make it a little squirrely. But, you're coming out of the spring. And I think the first game is just a lot of jitters anyways. So I think it's going to be a rough start, possibly for both teams. And then you'll kind of see them put it together as the game goes along.
Well, all right. Here's where the clips start. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to come out and look good. In fact, I like the alternate line. I think Penn State -7, something like that.
We didn't even get to pick your plate yet. So
no, it's not pick your plate. This is nothing to do with that Kyle Schumann segment. This has to do with I think we're going to come out and look good. I think our defense is going to look good. I think our offense will look good. I think we're going to run the ball.
When you say look good, do you mean like the swagger and everything? They're going to be decked out with some nice uniforms, like it's looking clean.
Our road unis are sweet, just plain white. I love it.
Trent, I don't know if it's a good thing, but I completely agree. I think we're going to punch him in the face, and again, it's going to be high scoring. Both teams are going to look good. But I think we're going to pull away the second half and show on national TV that wow, Penn State looks for real this year.
When he's going to be like, yeah, I agree, even though last week he told us we're going to lose to them.
I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think we're going to get blown out. I think it's definitely going to be a good game. I think the big thing
if we get blown out, there's a big problem.
I think if we don't run the ball, I think that's why we lose, in my opinion. If we run the ball and like Kyle just said, come out and punch him in the face, if we come out and rip off a long run, I think that's going to really say a lot for the rest of the game.
Well, let me tell you what I think.
Here's the.
Well,
people tune out right now.
Someone's got to do their homework on here, So
no.
Yeah, someone's got to.
This is Tailgate Talk.
This is too established media.
You don't do statistical research at it.
No. This is telling you what I'm looking for in the game. Are you just going to go into a game and be like, whatever, good times? I mean, maybe I'll leave by halftime. So no. I got things that I'm looking for. They're not anything deep, but I think if
get to it already.
We win the game. Coco, shut up. Class is in session. number one, number one, I think you have to establish the line of scrimmage. We've kind of talked on it for defensive.
You're just going into full
No,
coaching
no,
mode.
no,
All
no.
the stuff, all the coaches say.
3 phases of the game.
Let me guess. Number 2, we have to play complementary football.
No.
Number 3, we have to score more points than Purdue to win this game.
No, that's a winning take right there. So
number 4, we have to stay hydrated.
No, defensively, that's getting a pass rush on O'Connell because he's a veteran quarterback. He's gonna find the mistake if you give him time. If you can hurry his internal clock, if you can get to him a couple of times, if you can rush his decision making, I think you can stop that offense before it even gets started because they like to spread it out. They want to open you up, have you flood empty the box, and then use that to create a running game. So I think if you can do that, you can kind of shut down their attack before it even starts. And then offensively, it's just the reverse. You keep a clean pocket for Clifford. We've all talked about the difference between him when he has a clean pocket and when he doesn't. I think a lot of people are going to want us to, hit the ground and try to attack that run game hard, Winnie. But I think, Purdue stops the run pretty well. I think we've got to get the ball out to our playmakers on the outside first and then use that to open the run game. So number 1, and that's the longest point. So.
Oh my gosh.
No, there's two more. Number 2, secondary play, smart secondary play. O'Connell, if you make a mistake, he will find it. But if you play smart sound defense, he will put the ball up in one-on-one situations, and that's when you can get your turnover. So especially when you have a bunch of young guys coming in.
He's aggressive.
He is very aggressive. So not to the point where he's careless, but he's aggressive. So I think if you do your job, you play sound defense, you will get the opportunities. But if you're overly aggressive, especially with these young guys that are going to play more on Thursday than they've played their entire careers, he will take advantage of that. And then third is win the in-game adjustments. I don't know if we ever do that. I don't know if we ever even try, but it's a Thursday night game, first week of the season on national TV, hostile crowd. Even if you get up by a couple scores, Purdue's going to punch back. So you got to be able to adjust and you got to be able to counter punch and keep being productive. So that's my spiel. I'm done with that. So thank you. Yes. Thank you. I worked very hard on that. Okay. Anyone? See, I left you all speechless.
Kyle, do you have any questions for the professor?
That's what I'm going for.
No,
questions for the professor. No, I think we covered pretty much everything with this game.
You want to do predictions?
Let's do it.
So when you ready?
Winnie.
Yeah.
Predictions. He's stalling. What?
Sorry. PSU.
Sorry.
PSU.
Go tunnel. I can't hear.
Dead air.
Score prediction: PSU 28, Purdue 31.
No, well, I'm not going with the score.
Wait.
Is that what you wanted?
You're predicting a loss?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did say that last week.
He did say last week. He did.
Man, did you listen to me?
Okay.
Yeah, he did say it. I'm not
out.
going with the score prediction. I already said I think we come out look good. I like an alternate line. I think right now it's at 4. I would take it at 7 or more to try to get some good value.
That's a cop out. Make me predict the entire season before we even get there, and then won't even predict the score first game. I'm going Penn State wins 34-24.
Yeah, I'm going Penn State wins 38-31. I think we do win by a touchdown.
I think when we track this on Pick Your Plate, Trent gets -2 points because he didn't pick a score.
You can't, there's no line for picking a score.
Well, I don't care. We just make up the rules as we go along. So
technically, Matt doesn't know how gambling works. So
I don't live fast and loose.
So. We will. I'm sure we will. For all 12 games this year, if we're picking score, I doubt one of them will hit. So we will all be 0-12.
Doesn't matter. You got to give it the old college try.
Yeah. You don't know. So you don't try.
So anyway, speaking of gambling, Coco, do you want to get into Pick Your Plate?
Yep, get into this. So again, we have a full slate of games this weekend. We already picked our Penn State predictions for Penn State favored by 4 points. So another game we got coming back is the Backyard Brawl. West Virginia is playing at Pitt also on Thursday night. Pitt's favored by 7.5. So Winnie, what do you think for that?
I'm gonna go. I don't know too much about West Virginia this year, but I mean, if they're favoring Pitt, I'm gonna go with Pitt.
Go with Pitt?
Yeah.
This would. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if there's a chance that especially in these rivalry games, I think it's gonna be a dogfight either way. I think it's gonna be a really really close, ugly game, and as many times I can pick against Pitt, I will. So I'm gonna take West Virginia laying the points.
Yeah, this would be a game I would be insanely excited about Thursday had we not been playing on Thursday. I'm a little disappointed about that because this is a really cool game, the backyard brawl coming back after a long time. So I think Pitt is an overrated team this year. I think West Virginia is pretty much they're going to have 2 home games in this home and home because West Virginia is we know Pitt fans can't show up to their own games. I do like West Virginia to cover.
Let me just say as an aside, I don't think there's ever been a fan base that's handled success worse than Pitt in this last season. Like, my gosh, they had a good year. Like, I'm not going to take that away from them.
No, they did.
You think they're the 86 Bears.
They won a terrible conference and they think like they're a top 4 team this year.
Yeah.
So their program's so good that their top wide receiver goes to USC.
Yeah. So personally, I'm hoping they lose every game because that just annoyed the living heck out of me this year. But there are questions, the new OC, are they going to go back to more of a running style? Obviously, the new quarterback, losing Addison. Do have to give a shout out to Bartholomew, the tight end, the Blue Mountain grad. He's getting a lot of hype this year, but I think Pitt wins because I think there are a lot of questions for West Virginia. Don't know if JT Daniels can even stay healthy, let alone play good football. But I think, like we said, the rivalry game, I think it's going to be close. I think West Virginia covers.
All right. Another good game we got on Saturday. Notre Dame's coming to Ohio State. And right now, Ohio State's favored by 17 points. All these lines keep moving, but this is what we're getting as of Monday night. So, Trent, what do you think of that?
This one is tricky. I feel like the easy pick here is to say, and I've been saying how great I think Ohio State is all year, but I think that's a lot of points for a team that's top 10.
For a top five matchup.
Yeah. So I mean that's a lot of points, but I really think Ohio State is legit this year, and I like Ohio State to cover that.
Yeah, I think I think as much as I really admire Ohio State's offense, I mean they're going to light up the whole every game on their schedule. I just think Notre Dame is gonna they always have a good defense. I don't care like who they lost last year. I think it's going to be a game where Ohio State can control the entire game. I think maybe like in the fourth quarter, Notre Dame scores like a late touchdown, maybe makes it like a 14-point game or something like that. So I think it's going to be Ohio State controls the entire game, but Notre Dame covers the 17. So I'm taking Notre Dame.
Yeah, I couldn't make up my mind on this one all day. So I'm going to be like Harbaugh with the quarterback announcement over the weekend. I've made a decision, except I haven't made a decision.
I'm going to take the over and the under.
and the push just to be safe. Yeah. No, I agree with what you guys said. I like Marcus Freeman. I think he's going to bring a lot of success to Notre Dame, but Ohio State's offense is just really, really stacked this year. I think they're going to give everybody fits, us included. But 17 points is a lot, especially, they have had some ghosts in early season games, even at home. So I think Notre Dame covers.
Yeah. I mean, heck of a game to start your career as the Notre Dame head football coach. Huh?
Yeah. Technically, he got Oklahoma State, but yeah, going back to your alma mater, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ohio State too. I think playing at home is gonna give them enough to get ahead. I think if it was the other way around and they were playing at Notre Dame, I don't think it would be the 17 points. But I'm gonna say because they're at home, it's gonna give them that extra boost.
All right,
he wants to go into that awful stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt knows that firsthand. We had two more Penn State prop bets here. One we already talked about in a past episode, how we have Penn State made the line of 1.5 turnovers forced against Purdue. I can throw on the graphic here what we had in that prior episode. I believe we all took everyone took over 1.5 except for me. I think we're gonna force 1 turnover. I don't think we're gonna force 2.
I was looking back at this, Kyle, and I was actually doing some research that in terms of quarterback play, they only had 3 interceptions the last 6 games of the season, and it was in the Music City Bowl. So quarterback, I don't know. I was actually kind of regretting my decision at this, but I'm hoping that they do get over the 1.5.
Well,
I
that
think
sucks.
you might get us at this, Kyle.
Yeah,
I,
we'll
st-
see.
I, I still like
I-
the over. Aiden, Matt and I
Yeah.
said, Aiden O'Connell is aggressive. So if you get an interception and a fumble in there,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
one of each.
Get King to cough up the ball a couple times.
And finally, everything coming full circle here. We've been talking about the offensive line, the rushing game. First game back. Does Penn State rush for over or under 130 rushing yards in this game?
Under. I think we have a better rushing attack than we've seen last year, but I don't think we get 130 just because I think Purdue stops the run well. Like I said, I think we need to run to open up the pass. So I think for that reason we're under.
And put that in perspective, 130 yards would make us slightly like below average, like compared to other teams last year. It's telling you how bad we were last year.
I'm gonna go with Matt. I'm at baby steps. I'm gonna say under. I think we better get over the 100-yard mark. I think an interesting aside to this is, if you think we're going over, does a single rusher have over 100 yards? Probably not.
See, we
have too deep of a backfield.
See, I'm going with over because I think it's going to be a shootout. I think both the rushing game and passing game going to be working in tandem. I think the rush scope from the pass and vice versa. So I think part of it's just hoping that we go over 130 yards because I just want to see us like not be inept anymore. So
I mean, it only takes one breakout run,
exactly,
a 60-yard breakout run or something, and it's over.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna take the over with Kyle. I think the run is gonna be big. I'm hoping that this season that's what's gonna really put Penn State ahead.
You just hope they go under center.
Oh, don't worry. I'm gonna be counting how many snaps.
All right, is that it, Coco?
Yep, that's all I got.
All right, so we can wrap it up there a little bit. Move on to the last call. Anyone want to kick us off here?
I can go, actually. It was funny that Trent made that comment because my last call question is actually regarding the running backs. So do you guys think that Nick Singleton this season will rush for over 1,500 yards?
I'm going to say no. That's going to be – do I think he's going to be maybe the leading rusher on the team? I think he will. I don't think he's going to over 1,500 yards. That's a lot for a first-year freshman running back.
I think the depth that we have, even if he wasn't a first year, it's hard to get that many yards. So I mean, you have two or three other real solid backs. So for that reason, I say no.
Same reason as exact same thing. I'm going with no, just because if he was the back that we were going to be dependent on to take 90% of the carries, I think that's okay, but it's not going to be the case. So no.
I'm going to go with yes. And the reason I say it is just because how we saw Drew kind of move up in the slot here, that I think, football, things can change in a heartbeat. And, as we see Lee being the main guy, all of a sudden it could change gears. I know this running back style is definitely different, but I don't know. I'm going to go over.
Now he's on a first name basis with the players. Been doing a podcast for 3 weeks and Drew. And
well, we got some friends that know him by first name basis, so I figured that we can get that close with them.
Don't out our inside sources, Winnie. So
yeah, I'm trying not to.
Trent, you want to go?
Yeah, I was in the air for two of them. I think I'm gonna do both. All right. Yes, they're
wait.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
One's yes, no. It's
Matt, you
yes,
inspired him.
No discussion needed. Does Scott Frost make the season?
No.
I'm gonna say no too, but your next part should be like, at what point do we think he's gonna go?
No. My next question is Penn State related. All right. Who's going to be the standout player for this game Thursday?
I think it'd be Sean Clifford. I think we're gonna get that big, hey, I'm back. Here's my 20th year as Penn State's quarterback. But we're gonna be like, wow, this is gonna be the second year with the same OC. I think he's gonna bring that wow factor.
When he go, I'm still thinking.
You're still thinking?
Yeah.
I took the chalk answer, so
I think I don't know. I don't know if I have one player. I think I'm going to stick with the running game. Even though I was just talking about Nick Singleton, I think Lee's going to jump out and have a great game.
All right. I was thinking.
I'm going defensively, Matt. I'll give you some more time. I'm going defensively. I'm going with Jair Brown. I think he gets it. I think he gets an interception, makes some big defensive plays, and he's an electric player on the defense. Possibly
right.
2 interceptions.
Yeah, you helped me out because I was on the fence between Jair Brown and someone else, and I was even thinking of my pick your plate being, does he get 2 interceptions? So since you picked him, I'll go with my other choice, Mitchell Tinsley. I think he's gonna come in, he's gonna impress a lot of people and get the job done.
And honorable mention, I think Devin Ford's going to get a lot more. I think he's going to get a lot more like playing time and a lot more yards than people think this season. He's been really under the radar.
I hope so.
All right, well,
what you got?
Well, if Trent can do 2 questions, I can do one semi-lengthier one. So Penn State and Purdue are 2 land-grant universities. In the Big Ten, there's 10 land-grant universities. Can you guys name the 4 Big Ten teams that are not land-grant universities? And for the record, our buddy John, friend of the pod, he got
number 1 easy. Northwestern, easy. That's a no-brainer.
Okay, that's 1.
Yeah. Rutgers, probably.
That's incorrect.
Maryland, then.
That's
Indiana.
Incorrect.
Indiana's
the second one.
I know Ohio State is. I don't think Michigan is.
Michigan is not. Michigan. Trent's on a roll here. Trent, one more.
Trent, you got it.
Are we counting new Big Ten members?
This is the entire Big Ten, all 14 teams.
I don't know.
The last one's Iowa. So the 4 are Indiana, Michigan, Iowa, and Northwestern. And all right, Trent, I respect it. That was a good job.
I wasn't gonna go with Iowa.
I was almost there. I was like, no, but they've got corn. So
Mo Winnie was gonna say Michigan State. The land grant trophy.
All right, Matt, what's your question?
I'll finish this out strong because we can't end on a lame ass trivia question.
For all the bad questions, Matt, the first 5 episodes, I can have 1 bad question.
I pride myself on thought provoking last call questions. So let me start off with a quote from James Franklin today.
Last call questions.
Well, that's what you get with Penn State. So you know what, Coco, you can stick to your trivia. Today, James Franklin said of Nick Singleton, Nick is big and strong and fast and has a chance to go 80 yards at any point in the game. So my question is, how many offensive plays do you think we see before Nick Singleton gets on the field?
I feel like it's going to not be in the first. I mean, I don't think he comes in the first series because I feel like I'm going to go second series. So hopefully we get a first down in there. I'm going to go 7.
We're not counting anything with special teams, right? We're just offensive plays.
Offensive plays, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see him on the first drive. Screw it. I want to see him on the first drive. Maybe like 3 plays in.
I like it. I'm going to go with 7.
I'll say 10. I don't know, just to kind of space this out a little bit.
Yeah, I was thinking like 12 to 13. I was in like the 2nd to 3rd series too, Trent. I think that first series is going to be a little bit more sustained. So I'm going to go.
Well, I know Kavion Lee is going to break like a 60-yard run and need to come out for a break. For a breather, so.
Yeah, right.
Or they'll probably do what Matt wants, and they'll just pass 9 plays in a row, and then they'll finally bring him in and let him run.
Or we'll do 3 dumb 3 read option plays that go for like -2 yards and got a punt right away. So
Winnie's the only guy I know that wanted to run the ball more last year when we couldn't run the ball.
I want to run the ball.
Yeah, it was football.
We all wanted to run the ball, Winnie. We just couldn't.
Well, if you don't try, you're not gonna.
If you don't try, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just run the ball 20 times a game and get 25 yards, but you're just not trying.
Probably a loss of yards.
Anything else?
I just want to say I hope Penn State performs better than Kyle Schumann and John God played in poker this past weekend.
That's a story for a different time.
I wiped their clocks.
Yeah, I beat Trent in golf 2 weekends ago, so that's all that matters.
I beat you in golf 2 weekends ago.
And we did.
I beat him by 25 the next day.
Let me just
one time.
Nobody cares about golf. Nobody cares about poker. Nobody cares about baseball because it's football season. So with that,
fall golf's the best. You can still golf.
I'll
Matt, come down to our country club. We'll give him out on the senior tees then.
That's Kyle just trying to throw out there that we're country club guys.
He's fancy. So I'll take Maction over any other sport any other day of the week. But all right,
just because you suck.
I'm calling it.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout for a wrap-up episode from Purdue.
Oh wait,
next week.
One more thing. Hopefully we have a good Sunday reaction episode, because I don't want to see Matt angry after this first loss, if that when he's predicting. So
well,
Yeah,
you know
thanks.
what? I think if we lose, we might not even be back. So it was real. It was fun. It hasn't been real fun though.
This might be our last episode.
Thanks for everything, guys.
Yeah. So some of you guys still owe me money for some of the podcasting platform stuff.
Well, let's not talk about
I'm not one of them.
Yeah. All right. Be sure to follow us on our socials at PSU Tailgate Talk. Email psutailgatetalk@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, follow, drop a question, drop a review. We'll be back next week with hopefully a good response. Until then, we are Tailgate Talk.
Wait, one more thing.